what is the administration going to do, whether it was a tragic mistake or deliberate?
Well, let's see what the investigation says.
So you're going to wait for the Israelis to investigate
Let's
themselves?
see what the investigation comes up with. If we had done this, I think we would want the benefit of having the opportunity to investigate it and to figure out what happened.
But it's not the same thing. We're giving them billions of dollars in weapons.
We're giving them the kinds of capabilities they need to defend themselves. Maybe some people have forgotten what happened on the 7th of October, but we haven't. 1,200 Israelis, innocent.
Bro said October 7 again. Bro said October 7. It's May 28th. Is there ever a conversation about Israel's actions without October 7 and anti-Semitism declarations? Like, is there? It literally is just like, remember 9/11, guys? And it doesn't work. 9/11 worked, one, because it was America that was hit, and it was a massive blow to American collective consciousness. But beyond that, it was a different time with respect to the media cycle. There wasn't this level of democratization of the media where, like, you can directly see the impact on the ground of what the was going on. People still, cared about what CNN had to say more than anything else. So you can manufacture cassette much better. You can't do that anymore. You can't. This is 2024, man. It's not 2001. We're also living in the ashes of the post 9/11 America, both domestic policy and also our global war on terror that was an abject failure. You can't 9/11 your way out of this, dude. You just can't.
Israelis slaughtered, mutilated, tortured, and they're living right next to that kind of threat. Still a viable threat in Rafah, by the way. If you think Hamas is just gone, they're not gone from Rafah or from Gaza. And if you think they've abandoned their genocidal intent towards the nation of Israel, think again, they haven't. So Israel has every right to not want to live next to that kind of threat. And yes, we're going to continue to provide them the capabilities to go after.
God damn, dude. Oh my God. He is such a unique freak. Like, oh my Lord. No, John Kirby is my least favorite out of all of them. Like, no, I hate John Kirby more than I hate Lincoln. I hate him more than I hate most of these guys because, like, he is a fedayeen. He is literally a fedayeen. You don't understand. Like, the other ones are like awful monsters as well, but he fucking, like, he loves this shit. Bro, he rocks the IDF dog tag at press conferences, dude. What are you saying? Like, what are we talking about?
You've said now that you don't think a major ground invasion is happening in Rafah right now, but as you note, this is a densely populated area. It all is. I understand that this might be a secondary explosion. The Israelis are describing it as a tragic mishap. But isn't this exactly the kind of incident that you have been concerned about this whole time?
As I said in my opening statement, this exactly does speak to the challenge of military operations in a densely populated area. A challenge, I would add, Mary, that we have been sharing and our perspectives on with the Israelis from our own lessons learned in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. This incident speaks exactly to that challenge.
And despite the loss of life here, do you still believe that this strike was precise and proportional?
There's an investigation. I think we're going to let the Israelis do their work. I don't think you can expect me to speak to the details of a specific strike by Israeli military forces when we had nothing to do with that.
And just one more.
You did. It's our weapons, dude. Bro, there's a guy. It's like if there's a dude who's like a serial school shooter, and we are giving this serial school shooter all the weapons that they need, and we're funding and facilitating his school shooting activities. And in the process of yet another school shooting, we're like, oh, well, it's not our fault. No, man. No, it is. It is our fault. We're sheltering the school shooter from criminal prosecution while simultaneously giving him weapons. Like, what are you talking about? It is entirely our fault. American empire is falling apart. There is no defense for this. It's done. It's so utterly indefensible. The irreparable harm that Israel has caused America on the global stage will be written about in history books when our Chinese overlords inevitably take over. We will remember these days as the final days of American empire. 100%. This will literally be remembered as the final days of American empire, American global domination. America took all of the international organs of justice that it once used against its enemies and shattered it to pieces. No more fucking soft power.
You've called the strike devastating, the images heartbreaking, but you've stopped short of outright condemning this strike. Can you explain why?
We have been, I think, very strident in our condemnations about the deaths of innocent civilians. These deaths are not excused from that, but we have to understand what happened here. There's going to be an investigation. They've already said it was a tragic mistake. They're looking into it. They have been able to investigate themselves and hold people accountable in the past. We'll see what they do here.
They have not. When have they done that? Someone please ask when. Two dudes got zero fucking criminal charges and basically were no longer longer rear brigadier admiral generals, okay, for the World Central Kitchen bombing. Bro, Israel has punished Jewish IDF soldiers more severely for making hot dogs on Sabbath. I'm not even joking. The Israeli government and the Israeli military threw multiple IDF soldiers in jail for 20 fucking days for making hot dogs on a Saturday. What are we doing? God, I hate everyone so much. I have so much hatred in my heart. Oh my God. We haven't even gotten to the Mossad yet. Chat, we have not even gotten to the Mossad surveillance and criminal investigation, other criminal acts of intimidation, criminal intimidation investigation conducted by 972 magazine.
Thank you. I want to be clear, after this weekend strike, is it our assumption that nothing about U.S. policy has changed or is changing in regards to...
As a result of this strike on Sunday, I have no policy changes to speak to. Just happened. The Israelis are going to investigate it. We're going to be taking great interest in what they find in that investigation, and we'll see where it goes from there.
I also want to ask, we saw a good amount of international condemnation after this strike, whether it was from President Macron of France, others in Europe. We have not yet heard from the president publicly at all about this strike. Why is that?
Well, again, I think I've answered this question with Ed. You've heard the president on numerous occasions in just the last few days about what's going on in the Middle East and in other places around the world, and you'll hear from him again. I'm absolutely confident of that.
Question, is there any concern that the United States itself is being isolated internationally as we continue to support the operation and you're seeing European allies?
One of the things...
Do you hate Biden more than Trump at the moment, little bro? No. I hate him equally. It's a stupid ass question. I have the maximum amount of hatred in my heart for both of those. Partially because, unlike many others, I understand how we got to this point to begin with. And it's every other American president before them, too, that allowed this to happen. But Trump greatly accelerated it.
One of the things that we've talked about with the Israelis about the manner in which some of these operations are being conducted, is the real danger that Israel itself could become further isolated from the international community.
Oh, Israel can suck my cock, dude. How about that? Oh, no, dude. Oh, no, Israel might get isolated. Yeah, dude, Nazi Germany might get isolated. We're really worried about that. Suck my fucking dick. Like, as a government, that's crazy. Guys, don't worry about... America might get isolated and we're scared, but you know what we're really scared about? Israel getting isolated. It's like, what are you saying, bro? Go fucking do this for Israel then. Why are you doing this for America? It literally gets worse every day, man. John Kerbels. Yeah, 100%. Every day that Israel keeps doing some fuck shit, American politicians and American State Department officials literally keep coming out and being like, listen, bro, you don't understand. I love Israel more than I love America, okay? Like, straight up, I would die for Israel, bro. I would die for Israel. I like America. I like America. It's fine. It's whatever. Poo. I shit on the flag, okay? But the Israeli flag, dude, if you fucking come near that shit, I will kill you. What the fuck?
Just by dint of the manner in which they are conducting operations. So this is of concern, clearly, because it's not in Israel's best interest, and it's not in our best interest for Israel to become increasingly isolated on the world stage. As a matter of fact, one of the things the president came into office wanting to do, and actually we had made some progress before the 7th of October, was working towards a more integrated Israel into the region. So it's in our national security interest to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Bro is literally defending the Abraham Accords, bro. Why should the Democratic Party and its own personal leadership, like how does the Democratic Party have a leg to fucking stand on? Like, how? You are personally invested in defending Israel so hard that you are handing it to the Trump administration.
The president doesn't make decisions and he doesn't execute on policy based on public opinion polling or on popularity contests.
Oh, we know, dumbass. You don't have to say that again. Yeah, the president doesn't operate on popularity. He doesn't really operate on anything other than just like pure spite, pure resentment, and dementia. He's basically a sock puppet. He doesn't operate on popularity. He doesn't operate on human rights. He just operates on like what's good for Israel. I don't really care. They can do whatever they want.
He bases his decisions on our own national security interests, what's at stake for our safety and security here at home and abroad, and what's in the best interest of our allies and partners. Sometimes what's in the best interest of your alliance and your partnership is to be candid, forthright, even tough with your friend. which we have been able to do with Israel.
Sorry, I just want to be clear on that. We spoke about Israel's isolationism there. I just want to make clear, are you concerned?
When have we been tough with Israel? We were like, he used too many 2,000-pound bombs, so we're just gonna stop one shipment one time and then immediately fucking follow through with a $26 billion package. So what are we doing? What do you mean we've been tough? Oh man, we have been so tough on Israel.
Concerned at all? Is the administration concerned at all about the United States being out of step or isolated?
I thought I got to that in the last part of my soliloquy.
No, I did.
I did.
I'm sorry, I did not catch that.
You didn't get it. Okay, so I'm gonna try it again, and we'll see. Maybe take two will be better. The president's not making decisions based on popularity of, or public opinion polls here around the world. He's making decisions about our national security based on those interests and what meets those interests. And it certainly doesn't meet our interests, and it doesn't meet our Israeli partners' interests for them to become further isolated. But he's not making decisions based on that being a worry. He's making decisions based on what's in the best interest of the American people and our safety and security abroad.
Nope. Today, Ben-Gvir demolished another family's home in the Silwan community, e.g. after the Supreme Court denied the family's challenge. In other words, for years now, settlers have been aggressively pushing the ethnically cleansed Palestinians from Silwan, where Jewish housing units have quadrupled in the past decade or two. I mention this because I want to stress for my American comrades who mostly see the war that this happens every day. This is the peace the Zionists you talk to want. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I have noticeably heard less chirpers. Have you guys noticed that like the more intense Israel gets and the more you see white women posting about like Rafah and shit, the less you see the fucking freaks before that would come in and chirp about J-Dams and shit? What happened? I don't think we banned all of them. They make enough fucking sock accounts.
Yeah, Jake Sullivan said recently that the United States would be watching very carefully the level of number of deaths, actually, and level of destruction in.
No, I know what happened. It's because Biden stupidly said we have a red line. If he had not said that, we wouldn't be at this position. Because Biden stupidly said there's a red line, okay, and then the ICC moved forward and the ICJ moved forward to enforce Biden's red line, even though they immediately walked it back, by the way. Most Democrats that are just Biden dick riders that will literally say whatever the Democratic Party is saying is like allowed, turned around and were like, see, he's actually doing his very best. When in fact, he could be doing his very best by enforcing red lines, but he's not. But those guys were too stupid, and because they wanted to say, I told you so, see, Biden is trying to stop this war, not ethnic cleansing, war, they all ran to celebrate Biden's decisions too quickly. And every single time things like that happen, more people get the moral courage and also the permission to say what they truly fucking feel about Israel's ethnic cleansing campaign. And that's precisely the reason why you're seeing a lot of those people basically, backtrack from their prior positions. There were people, even Hamza, the what do you call it? The fucking Palestinian living in Germany, the one that wrote the Newsweek article about how shitty the college students are for protesting for Palestine. Even he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me when I said those things. I'm actually so fucking pro-Palestinian, you don't even know. So what happened? Even Brianna Wu doesn't give a fuck. There's no way. No, Brianna Wu's too fucking stupid to understand when she's advocating for a lost cause. Guys, you're forgetting. She's so fucking stupid that she literally learned about Israel-Palestine after October 7. If you remember her earlier post, in the immediate aftermath of October, she was like, Hasan, I'm actually a fan of yours, so I don't really understand why you're saying certain things. Literally, early October, she was like, I don't really know how I feel about everything that's going on. Don't you think what happened to Israel is like really fucked up? Nowadays, she's literally like, everything in the Bible is real, historical fact. Moses was a real individual, historical figure who parted the Red Sea. And also, from the river to the sea, Israel was all you will see. Jews are the fucking chosen sons and daughters of God. And if you don't agree with that, and that they deserve fucking Israel and maybe even Lebanon and definitely Egypt too, you're an anti-Semite. Like, she went from literally being like, hold on, let me understand this Israel stuff, I don't really know, on like October 10 to, talking like Pastor John Hagee up in this bitch. Brianna citing the Bible. Once again, I must apologize. Yeah, this is it. I must apologize for questioning our nation's foremost expert, but if you're going to do biblical literalism, you should probably stick to whatever is actually in the Bible instead of whatever this is. The original Jewish presence of the region dates to around 2000 BCE with the 12 tribes. About 700 years later, Egypt saw them as a threat. Then it came in and enslaved them. Moses led a slave revolt based with the help of divine intervention. Ugh, dude, you're like 50 years old. You're typing based in parentheses. Like, honestly, I can't read the rest of this. That's it. I'm out. I can't do that. I can't. I literally think that these people do not deserve the oh yeah, here, this is how this was talking about it on October 28th. I said it's not complicated. The Israel-Hamas war is possibly the most complex geopolitical issue that we're facing. Respectfully, I think it's wildly complicated. I said, do you agree with the HRV and Amnesty that Israel is an apartheid state? If your answer is yes, then what's complex about the morality of apartheid? Hasan, I have nothing but respect for you genuinely. Remember, October 28th. The thing that makes this more complicated for me are the October 7th terrorist attacks that targeted, slaughtered innocent civilians, Hamas's unwillingness to participate in the peace process of the entire history of the region being shaped by anti-Semitism and a relentless cycle of violence. If you look at my Twitter, I do not support the occupation. I'm not blind to where the path of war is taking us. Horror for everyone. Brianna, thank you for your kind words. However, I'm still confused. Do you agree with former Israeli ministers, Mossad members, virtually all human rights organizations and scholars that all say Israel's an apartheid state? I think it's so loaded a term that I'm uncomfortable with that specific language, but I certainly understand the sentiment and understand why you would use it. Directionally, the situation is clearly structural, humanitarian abuse of Palestinians. I think we would agree that Netanyahu's policies over the last 16 years have wildly contributed to the desperation and horror. Which, by the way, she said the apartheid was a loaded term. She's not uncomfortable with, the death and destruction that befall on the Palestinian population. She's uncomfortable with the term calling what Israel does when it's not ethnically cleansing the Palestinians on the Gaza Strip an apartheid, which it is. Absolutely not, motherfuckers. Absolutely none of you believe you had a change of heart. You cheered this on every step of the way. This is yours. Own it. I stand here for months saying, let's have peace. It's possible to have peace with Israel. And then Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and the goons spit in my face by killing more civilians in Rafah. That's what it feels like. I agree with this. I said at the beginning that invading Rafah would be a mistake of historic proportions and would make it difficult for people to stand with Israel. None of this is going to make anyone safer. Personally, I think the beheaded infant was the strongest argument, but I think that infant was a human being, so who can say? The strongest argument for not supporting Rafah is caring about Israeli security. Yeah, she spent every day for the past 8 months hand-wringing about progressives in the left. She lost their fucking cushy job over at Progressive Victory. She made me lose respect for anyone that has ever worked with her that I had a fucking ounce of respect for, by the way, because they are so goddamn blind sometimes. I will not be naming any names, but maybe familial relations. It's ridiculous, dude. It's what are we doing? Can you not fucking see how dumb this person is? Are you insane? How? I will question anyone. At this point, I will literally question any fucking human being that looks at this chirping for 8 months about everything that Israel has done, trying to do the worst possible job of defending it. If you are that's my political operative, yeah, you're destined to fucking lose, okay? Straight up. She said Houthinis, man. She said Houthinis, man. And now she's out here trying to do a fucking dumbass podcast with what's that guy? The weirdest freak of all time, the ugliest freak of nature, the fucking race realist guy on Hananya. Yeah, exactly. That, by the way, is Hananya actually fucking Palestinian? Because, oh my God, bro. Palestinian white supremacist race realist Israel defender. Richard Hananya. She said the kafia was the kafaya. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he is. I think he is a Palestinian. Literally a white supremacist, America First dick rider who I believe is of Palestinian descent. It is so fucking crazy to me how you can be a straight up Nazi. Anyway, Richard Hananya, she's trying to convince him trans people are people by showing him young trans women he'd want to fuck. It's so fucking disgusting. Yeah, these people deserve literally how fucking awful their lives are, okay? They deserve it. There is no way that they're having a good time. There's no shot. Let me tell you. Yeah, I mean, this is oh God. If you want more Hunter shavers, you should support access to puberty blockers. Sick. I've been a majority reporter subscriber one way or another since Bush. I stopped listening this year. I just can't. Her on Reddit 4 days ago. Yeah, she sucks. A Hananya classic. Let's say Jeffrey Epstein wants to have sex with a 14-year-old girl, and I will pay her $10 million. The money will go into a mutual fund that they will pay out when she's 21. The girl agrees, as do both her parents. Should this be allowed? And are you male or female? That's Richard Hananya. Seeking arrangements as a trans woman, and Ben looks like Hananya if he looked handsome. I disagree with this sentiment. He's Palestinian Christian. Some of them go really hard, right, when they grow up in America. How would you know, Capri Sun Poppy? No, I'm just kidding. It is fucking nutty. I don't understand how you can be a fucking Palestinian Christian and be a white supremacist, dude. It's nuts. It's nuts. And he's pro-Israel too. Let's get back to this. Reporter girl State Department spokesperson, has Israel crossed the red lines that Biden set?
In Rafah specifically. Given the number of deaths and the level of destruction that we are seeing in Rafah, and today you have Israeli tanks that entered the zone, and you have already over 800,000, if not more, Palestinians who, fled the zone. Has Israel crossed the red lines that Biden has, that the president has given?
It is something that we can, when it comes to their military operations in Rafah, as I just said in response to Ellen's question, it's something that we continue to look at very closely. And as I just said, it so far is a different operation than we've seen in Khan Yunis and that we saw in Gaza City. But this is something we watch every day and something that we engage with the government of Israel about.
I think the reason why I don't hate I don't hate Matt Miller as much as I hate Kirby is because he's consistently fucking up. Like Kirby fucks up too, but I think because he's not like a Fedayeen in the same way that Kerbals is, he just like ends up literally flubbing half the time because his job, like this job is not easy. Like this level of evil is not fucking easy. Okay, straight up. If you remove morality from the equation, you have to understand like your job at the State Department as a spokesperson is to literally be like, Israel would never do this, and then Israel does it the next day, or sometimes while you're saying Israel would never do this, while simultaneously saying, we do this, fuck you Biden, fuck you America, we do this, and we do this with your weapons, Hamas, anti-Semitism, Hamas, October 7, like literally in the process. So you have to be real fucking, a real rabid psychopath to be able to just like deal with that shit.